Lisa Union, and I've been going to Normandy Christian Church, I believe for almost 5 years now. And Betty Waller is the one that introduced me to the church. I have had 3 brain aneurysms 7 years ago, and I have one more in my head. I was an alcoholic for 30-something years. I worked. I went to work at Safeway in the deli, which was hard work, and then I'd come home at night and I'd start drinking and drink till I went to bed and get up with a hangover and drag my butt to work, and I did that for years. And then I was babysitting my grandson when I had that headache. I was on the 5th day of my headache, and I had to call my son at work and say, I can't do this anymore, I gotta go to the ER. And I was watching my grandson, so I could have bled out right there and he would have been by himself. But God had me. The timing is just mind-blowing, because my aneurysm that exploded and when I was bleeding out, it happened right when the doctors had opened up my head and opened up my brain. That's when it went and blew, right when they were there. If it did it at any other time, I would have been a goner, because they wouldn't have been able to get to it quick enough. So it's just mind-blowing. God does stuff, and I can't wrap my head around it, pardon the pun, but it's just truly amazing and awesome. I was hiding in all the alcohol, and, I didn't give it a chance. I didn't think about it. I just covered myself up and getting drunk all the time, so I didn't have to deal with my feelings, because there was a lot of other stuff that happened to me. I was abused in many different ways from a small child and on up into adulthood. The first time that I believe I was abused, and I did not remember this until I was 21 or 22 years old. I had blocked it out, which is common for people to do. Because when you're a child, you don't know how to deal with something like that. So it goes in the back and it's locked up, And I remembered it, and of course I was hurt, confused, and didn't know what to do. And that's around the time that I started drinking. I think I was looking for things that made me feel good, because through the years I was in different relationships that weren't good choices. I was trying to find love and happiness and stuff that made you feel good, but it was all temporary. But I do know I was searching, and and I never found the answers, so that's probably why I drank. Because then you start getting drunk, you get that temporary feel-good thing going on, and then the next morning, of course, you feel like crap, and you're like, I'm never going to do that again, and then you do it again, It's a vicious cycle, because God's not orchestrating it, you are. I met Betty. I lived in Sunnydale Apartments right here in Berrien, and Betty was actually a friend of one of my neighbors. And I just happened to come across Betty in the hallway. I was visiting my neighbor, and Betty came over to see her, and Betty saw me and asked me if I wanted to go to church. And the first time I said no, and then I saw her again and she asked me if I wanted to go to church, and I said yes. And I came to church, and I believe it was that very day that I came to church that I felt the Lord, and I just started crying, and it was a feeling of like coming home. It's like I realized that it was right there the whole time. You know, I'm banging my head on the wall over here, and the door's over here. Why can't I go through the door? You know, no, I gotta be stubborn and keep banging my head on the wall, and it's right there. Yeah, I mean, I've always been artistic. You know, I'm a musician, but I didn't paint before my aneurysms. One day I was at work at the dollar store, and I saw some people buying some little baby canvases and some paints, and it just came to me like, oh, I'm gonna buy some and start painting. Who does that? I mean, so I got some, just a couple of canvases and one little thing of paint, and I started painting, and it was just like the floodgates opened right up. It's very much a form of worship to me. It's just like when we worship with music, because we're supposed to worship with music. We're also supposed to worship with the gifts that God gives us. If you do music, you can do it for God. I paint for God. You know, thinking about all the crazy stuff that I did, or, you know, I drank for 30 plus years. I kind of contributed to the aneurysms, you know, and I had to process all that, which I think it was slowly leading up to when I was saved and Betty brought me to church. God knew that was going to happen. I didn't, but He knew how it was going down, you know. So after my aneurysms, that period of time was leading up to when I got here at my home church. And I realized that Jesus did forgive me for every crazy thing that I ever did, you know, and He will forgive you for anything. I can't stress enough. There's no words I just want to grab you all and shake you and say, give Jesus a chance, because you've given everything else in this world a chance and it hasn't worked. Try Jesus. I mean, come on now. I'm living proof He can do miracles.